Hello, I'm just trying to make myself really presentable. Just up in the morning, had a lovely evening out to my partner's mother's house, so I suppose my mother-in-law, even though we're not married, but that sort of thing, and a solstice party, and we had a really lovely time, but we didn't come back till sort of 12:30. But I woke up this morning at about 6:30, and I just felt today we don't have to do too much. We're going to go and have fake mess over at my mum and dad's house, so I haven't got a tremendous amount to do today in terms of having to be awake and alert, so I thought I might as well get up, having a hot drink, decaffeinated coffee with normal milk. I thought I'd do the 10 Slim and Wild questions tag. I haven't been, I've tried to sort of do videos and upload each day, but I thought one had uploaded, so I deleted it, but it hadn't uploaded, so I lost that one. I'm putting together another one that go for what I ate on Wednesday, but I'm a bit behind my putting together and uploading, but so it'll be intermittent, but I thought I'll do this one. Okay, so I'll do this bit first because I'm going to do it in a row back of an envelope. I'd like to tag Debbie on Slim and Wild and tag Jane Day. I don't know if either of those have been tagged. I tried to have a little look to see if they have, but I don't know if Debbie on Slim and Wild watches me anyway. But I don't know who else to tag. Obviously, if anybody else wants to do anything, it's always good to hear what everyone's been doing. And I will figure out a way of attaching some things in the description below. Okay, so the first question is, will you be on plan? And yes, I will be on plan. Last year I was very successfully on plan, and I think that was my first on plan Christmas, because it coincided with like the first time I'd been on Slim and Wild for Christmas, and it was surprisingly easy. I had a bit of breakfast. My main meal that I think I had kind of one sin or so. I chose the thing I wanted the most, which I think at the time was just a bit of cranberry sauce, and I had a bit of that. But I had loads of raised potatoes, carrots, parsnips, cabbage. I'm vegetarian, so my mum made me this lentil and sweet potato and onion kind of bake. So it was almost like a nut roast, but without any nuts in it. So I had that. So there was loads of food to have that was on plan. So my main meal was that, and of course it's so big that you end up being totally filled up. I think I had some fruit a bit later. And I had some sins at the time. I was still eating sugar, so I had some little bit of stollen, which was tiny portion of stollen for 4 sins. And lots of chatting and stuff like that, so I didn't really end up eating. So there's no reason I can't do it today. Last night I ended up having quite a fair few sins. That was just because I was surrounded by it all evening and I was getting hungry, and I tried to make myself a thing to I made myself a thing to take with me, and I did eat that, and I ate a potato and things like that, but I just got caught out. But I'm okay. I understand why it happened, and I'm comfortable not continuing to make that choice today. I'm happy to sort of move on quite comfortably and smoothly. It was quite nice as well, because there's another chap there who also does Slim and Wild, so we had some good Slim and Wild chats. Team Slim and Wild, so that was nice. Just my alarm interrupting. It's 7:15 now, so it says it's breakfast time, because I've still kept my alarms on from when we were taking the kids to school, just because it helps me keep some sense of routine. Okay, so So will I be on plan? Yes. Christmas dinner is easy with loads of veg, and there will be lots of games to play. I've written down here, so there'll be loads of time spent with my kids. We'll have loads of fun together. There's sort of no reason, I will engage with all the other joys that I've found in life instead of eating. I don't need to eat those things to get joy anymore. I can, obviously last night I ended up eating stuff. I think it was because it's tasty, but the point is that I'm starting to learn to find other ways to find my joy. So I don't need to do that. I've got other options nowadays. Okay, so Brussels sprouts, yes or no? Yes, we'll have Brussels sprouts. My daughter really, really, really loves Brussels sprouts. Last time we had Christmas dinner, she just ate Brussels sprouts from Yorkshire puddings, basically. So yeah, no, we'll definitely have them. I think they're really cute, and I think it's just so much fun having Brussels sprouts. Slim and well-friendly meal other than the roast. So I'm going to say the kind of lentil and sweet potato and onion bake. In terms of it, I sort of my mum made it for me last year, and I was going to make it today for Fakemas. But I totally forgot Wednesday to make it, so I was going to make it when I get there. Basically, it's kind of fried onions mixed with lentils, and then kind of make a layer. And then you've got different types of mashed potatoes. You've got sort of sweet potato mashed. You've got Swede mashed, and kind of and do some leeks in with the onions, and so it's sort of like a bake that's very lentils and onions and potatoes and all that kind of stuff. So it's very comforting and very delicious. And so those types of herbs and things that you'd use are mixed herbs, paprika, garlic, all that kind of warming food. So yeah, and then obviously they're going well with the vegetables. Because obviously I'm vegetarian. So it says here also, do you dress to impress or stay in your PJs? So I struggle wearing any clothes that aren't extremely practical. Any clothes that I'm not going to get. I don't like zips because the children unzip your clothes. So I like to wear simple jumpers that mean that I'm kind of safe from poking. As they get older, it's less and less, but I think that's from little children, isn't it? Very practical clothes. I like to wear jeans that don't flare at the bottom, so that I don't end up tripping over or get kind of poked sometimes when you're sitting down. They sort of, if you have wider jeans, they kind of flare out slightly, and then little hands get in and poke you. So I like to have clothes that are kind of tight at the end units, so that I'm there. So I always wear my jeans, and always a sort of a slim, tight fit jumper, so that I'm ready for the day. So I don't like to stay in my pajamas. It makes me feel nervous. I don't feel like I'm ready for anything. I like to have practical, sensible clothes on. I don't have any clothes to be fancy in, apart from my dress that I bought recently, which I'm quite excited to try and figure out a way to wear at some point in my life. But I might have to buy some tights and things to go with it. Excuse me. But not on Christmas Day. I will just dress in my practical clothes. Favourite choice of Christmas drink? I don't like to drink alcohol. Really, I'm not really keen on that. I sort of stopped that. I don't know, for quite a while really. I suppose probably since last Christmas I probably don't drink anymore. I just find it grogs me out. I don't really have any sort of positive effect for me. So I don't bother with it really. And I think also it's got extra sins in, so it's not sort of, I'm not really keen on kind of using those sins for that really. But I used to drink Ribena Winter Spice as well, but with the sweeteners in. I don't do that anymore because I decided not to do sweetness. So excitingly, I shall probably be drinking water and decaffeinated coffee with almond milk on Christmas Day. So ideal Christmas pudding. I think an ideal Christmas pudding is a lovely fruit salad with all the types of exotic fruits. I think it would be very indulgent, so I wouldn't have those types of things normally because obviously it's a bit expensive to get lots of exotic fruit. But I would think things like papaya, watermelon, persimmon fruits. I wouldn't have anything that was kind of acidic like kiwi or pineapple just because it always feels a bit funny in my mouth. I would have grapes. I would have pomegranate. I would have nectarine. So I think something like that where you've got all sorts of really, really yummy exotic fruits would be a really nice Christmas pudding. In fact, I might make sure I get some different fruits in for that very purpose. Okay, favourite Christmas song. I suppose I'm a bit naughty really, and I'm not very Christmassy. And I suppose I'm a tiny bit anarchic and probably push against the social norm probably, but my favourite one so far is Jethro Tull Christmas song, and I think it's like something like It's Just Another Christmas Song, and it sort of it basically says about how you're kind of having your Christmas dinner, but you're not, and having all the presents and stuff, and you're sort of ignoring all the fact that people. It's a similar concept to the sort of do they know it's Christmas type of thing, but I think it's from a different angle. So rather than being sort of so naughty about do they know it's Christmas in Africa or type of thing, it's an odd way because they probably don't even care whether it's Christmas or not. So it's more about the idea of so there's a line in there that says about thinking about your thoughtless pleasures, and just thinking about how you're aware of kind of unnecessary decadence when you could be doing something more useful with your time. I think kind of like the whole sort of capitalism and commercialism and all that sort of thing. So I quite like that song. I think it helps me. I mean, obviously we run a shop, and so I'm always very conscious of the fact that I don't believe very strongly that capitalism should be the driving force of most of our lives. So we try to run our shop so that if we are selling things, it's going to be at a sensible rate, and that we offer many services that do not require financial gain in terms of when people purchase things from us. There's always an extra layer that we can provide that support and community spirit and all that sort of stuff. So that was a bit intense, wasn't it? Sorry. So, favourite Christmas film. I hadn't really been to Christmas very much for quite a long time. I used to go over to my grandma's house when we were younger. It was always a bit intense. She died around 2005, and since then we hadn't really done Christmas very much. Obviously, once we had some children, we ended up going to my partner's mum often, and nowadays we were at home. Then everyone used to come to us for the last sort of 3 years, and this year we'll be on our own for the first time since since ever really. I don't think I've ever spent Christmas Day kind of by myself in terms of just with my nuclear family, so I think it would be quite nice. But for that, I hadn't really got any sense of Christmas traditions. So I suppose the favourite Christmas, so I hadn't really watched lots of Christmas films and all those types of things, and I certainly didn't enjoy them when we used to watch them because it's all a bit too intense. But I think one of the ones I quite like is Arthur Christmas. We watch that quite a lot anyway, not even when it's not Christmas time, just because it's a nice sentiment, and it's a good animation, so I enjoy that one. Bread sauce, yes or no? Used to have it, but not anymore. I don't think it's a very good use of sins, if you know what I mean. I think there's a better use of sins for me personally. Obviously, previous to this point, I just have everything on my plate, so I wouldn't necessarily think about whether I wanted it or not wanted it. But also make bread sauce, and there's always loads left over. It's difficult to judge how much to make and all that kind of thing, so don't bother anymore. Low sin chocolate sweet. I was going to go for a Christmas tree decoration sweet because they're quite sort of small, so I think they're probably only about 2.5 sins or something like that. But also there's not like a box to access, so you wouldn't have like a big tub. Sometimes those like Quality Street or things like that, there's just a big tub waiting for you, and I think to try and choose some out of it and then eat those, but you've still got this giant box left, is quite hard. Whereas if you had a Christmas tree decorations, little chocolates, there's not very many in a pack, and you use them for a tree decoration, and then you could sort of have them kind of, you might want to keep your Christmas tree up over, like, sort of after Christmas. You might want to keep it up through the new year and things like that. It depends on if you do those things. And then in that case, it's a little bit like an advent calendar. You can then kind of take a Christmas tree decoration off as you go along, and you don't necessarily have to put very many up. Because I think when you get them, there's only kind of, there's not sort of 100 tree decorations. There's usually only about sort of 12 or so, sometimes 10. So it's quite, it sort of naturally controls the amount of the amount that you're going to eat. So I don't think I'll be putting Christmas tree decorations of chocolate up. I think I need to look after myself, and I think especially since last night, I was aware that putting myself in a situation where there is loads of food, like absolutely loads of temptation, I did not manage to resist the temptation. So I think I've got to be cautious now. I haven't got any other scenarios where that's today's going to be Fakemas, so it will be it's all with my mum and dad, and they know I'm on Slow and Wild, and they're going to try their best to make sure it's all Slow and Wild friendly. So today will not be a problem. There will be actual Christmas Day not be a problem because I'll be in control of it all. Boxing Day we're going to go over to my partner's mum's, and I don't think that will be a problem because it sort of be the daytime, if you know what I mean. I won't be getting tired. Yesterday I was obviously getting tired because it was getting very late, and so I was kind of bolster eating and, you know, joining in, whereas Boxing Day will not be the same. It'll be sort of sitting, chatting, playing with the kids, and, you know, eating a meal which I can eat. Sort of, I can pick out the veg. There might be a few extra sins depending on if there's, you know, I don't think the roast potatoes, for instance, will be sort of low sin, but there will be plenty of veg, so I can sort of pack up with loads of veg. So I don't think that'll be a problem. So I think I don't know where I was going with this. Just rambling, and then my alarm's gone off 7:30. So yeah, I'll finish it there. So yeah, I'd like to tag Debbie on Slow and Wild. Again, I don't know if she watches, but I'll do it anyway. And I don't know if she's already been tagged. And I'd like to tag Jane Day again. I don't know if Jane Day's already been tagged, but I'll tag it anyway to join in the fun. Okay then, guys. Yeah. Sorry for a bit over-reflective. My videos are always a bit over-reflective. I don't really do a I probably overthink things all the time. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of what I feel about those Slimming World questions, Slimming World Christmas questions. Again, I shall piece this together and upload. Lots of love to everybody. Goodbye.